We're cooked. We are absolutely cooked. I've talked about this before, and FreshestAnime is also going to be mentioning it. For him too. Shiba Yugi too, man. Womp womp. Let's hear about the pains and the struggles of anime reaction bullshit.
Today we gotta talk about why Tamon's B-side, Shiba Yugi, and so many others have failed. They failed me in terms of viewership. I did not.
And remember, because an anime reaction viewership is low, doesn't mean that the anime is bad. An anime reaction also may do better on a different channel, even if you're covering the same content, because of the audience that you have. But I think that, you know, like Tamon is different, right? We're going to be talking about the copyright stuff. I'm interested in the Shiba Yugi stuff as well, though.
Get the viewership needed.
It has nothing to do with Jujutsu Kaisen. One of the worst fucking cope is there's too many good animes happening this season, therefore people aren't watching this anime. No, that's not how that works. You think if JJK wasn't airing, people would watch Shiba Yugi? Do you think the audience even overlaps? If an anime is good, people are gonna watch. There is nothing about there's too many good anime. To think that the audience is a monolith that only will watch JJK because it's airing right now compared to the other shows, that shows me you have no understanding of what an even audience means.
In order to continue these series, or specifically in Tamon B-side's case, we're getting blocked. We're dealing with major copyright issues. It's really unfortunate, but that means we will not be uploading these series anymore. Now, some series I might give another chance to, but I think with these, especially the new ones, right? They just came out and they're performing so poorly. I don't think we can give them another chance.
And that's the fucked up thing too, right? Where you want to give viewership to all these different seasonal content, but not many people care about it. That's why seasonal content is dangerous territory. This is like endgame territory for people that have built a unique audience of those seasonal slop enjoyers to watch, right? For example, right? If we just look at my channel, right? If we just look at my channel, I think it's pretty obvious like what videos are doing well, right? And it's obviously going to be like Jujutsu Kaisen, it's going to be Face Strange Fake, it's going to be community series such as, you know, like what's it called, like JoJo's, right? Even like Face State, like Unlimited Blade Wars to an extent. And then of course there's like general content. So why are like individual episodes doing bad? Even Oshinoko, it has a slow start, right? Or even shows like this, right? The Hero Party, I picked up a cute girl, right? It's a cute girl in a dungeon. You can't expect everyone to be watching everything, right? And the more unknown niche the weekly seasonal is, the worse it's going to do. But it's also interesting because there's a hardcore audience for some shows. So for new channels, I don't recommend farming these random bullshit unless the algorithm has already, unless you've already done something like this where you fucked up and you've basically spammed so many different shows that your audience is all fragmented, and maybe you will create a community off of farming these random seasonal. I mean, that's kind of what I did, right? Very niche content with like Data Live and some of the other random slop isekai, and then eventually got to cover some mainstream content. It takes a long time, right? You can't just be forcing it down. So it doesn't mean that the anime is bad. It's just how the game works on YouTube, and the more again that you focus on shows that does bad, and the more signals it sends to the algorithm. And why would you do that, right? You're trying to appease a minority, a very loud minority saying, we want this, but words are cheap. Action is much louder. The silent majority moves in silence. They will simply click onto the Jujutsu Kaisen or Fate because they want to watch it. And again, the more that you fuck around and send bad signals, I think the more suppressed your viewership becomes. Lately, I've been experimenting, right? We're not shadow banned still. It's been day 29 now. This is kind of weird. I expect to switch to go on pretty soon. Oddly enough, my second channel just got shadow banned. Oddly, it's a different case. So the second channel is a very interesting experiment where it's only one topic, but it still does get shadow banned. And I've gotten shadow banned when we were doing too well, right? For sure, when the viewership is too high, and we talked about the theory of exceeding a certain threshold, and then it culls the, you know, the tourist away and works with your local audience for the first 3 days, and then pushes your video out, right? I think the issue with this shadow ban is that I haven't been doing well enough. So there's two theories right now which I think may work together. The ceiling, of course, if you do too well and you crashing, you know, the expected range, bad. But also the floor. If you're not performing enough at that floor, I think they also shadow ban. And I've been fucking around in the second channel. I haven't been uploading very consistently, right? I've been definitely uploading every other day rather than daily episodes. So it's a very interesting learning experience. Again, just theories. We don't have a definitive conclusion yet.
Now, by the way, I do want to say that these still will be uploaded on Patreon because I'm enjoying the shows. I'm enjoying Shiba Yugi. I'm enjoying Tamon's B-side. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's the YouTube side of things that always suffers when it comes to viewership because Well, I upload to YouTube for the viewership. I don't really upload to Patreon for the viewership. I upload to Patreon because I like the show and I want to watch the show. When I don't like a show, then I drop it from Patreon. This is what it looks like over here on my dashboard. What you'll see immediately is we're already dealing with a copyright strike. By the way, what happened with Tamon's B-side? Not a copyright strike. It got blocked. This is...
Yeah, again, right? Don't get copyright claims and copyright strikes like confused, right? Blocks, again, are fine. It's actually better that way, right? It doesn't mean your channel's in danger. A strike is very serious. 3 and you're out. Michelangelo's dealing with that bullshit right now, right? And we're trying to help everyone out.
From City, the animation, which is really unfortunate. This is the thing...
What? What? I'm just gonna delete the trailer. I'm just gonna delete the opening. You know, I'm just gonna delete the fucking episode. No, I'm good. I don't need this. We don't need to be fucking around with that. No, I'm good. Thanks, Joe. No, I'm gone. Goodbye. I'm not fucking around. Good. We don't need that shit. Goodbye.
Thing we're worried about. Now, it's not surprising at all to me that we got the video blocked because I was already hearing about other people having their video blocked. This isn't news to me. It's not like, oh my God, I had no clue this was gonna happen. I had a feeling this was gonna happen eventually, especially with episode 3. Episode 3 is the one that was getting blocked for people, okay?
Yeah, episode 2 and episode 2 is blocked for me. Episode 3 is still on. So let's look at the Tamon content, right? Let's look at this. You look at Tamon content? So remember, the theory was what? Japanese TV airs Tamon on Saturday or Sunday. For the Western audience, it comes out on Tuesday. Therefore, we were theorizing, what if we delayed the release? So that's what we did. And we delayed the release for episode 3, right? It came out on January 17th, which is obviously, right, last Saturday. It's fine. But I don't think it has to do with the schedule. Because we did the same thing for episode 4. Literally waited another week, January 25th, right? In fact, I even waited extra longer. This was on Sunday compared to Saturday. Still got blocked. So it's obviously to a degree random. I don't think episode 3 survived because that I uploaded late, right? I think it's just a matter of due diligence of them not going for this one. It just kind of slipped through the cracks. The opening, I had to contest. It got blocked. And then I obviously appealed and, you know, dispute rejected. But sometimes the visibility is still okay. This one, I disputed, but it was visible for a while, and then it got blocked after a couple of hours. So it's very tricky with this shit. I'm just glad they're not striking it. And I also don't want to poke the bear. Why bother poking the bear, right? Especially with copyright companies that may just strike you. Regarding the disputes for copyright claims, be careful with that. There's 2 options, right? When you go for a dispute, basically, there's 2 options where one, you can escalate to like an appeal. Don't do that one. Because that can be converted into a strike automatically if you lose. And you will lose because at this point, like there isn't like a third party coming in to like look into it. It's literally like it gets sent back to the claimant, the person who sent the copyright stuff. And they'll just be like, do you accept this or not? And of course they're going to say no. And then if it gets rejected at that appeal, escalated appeal, you will get a strike because of the automated system. That's how it converts. Don't do that shit. Just take the L and just go with the other safe option and try to get the copyright shit removed, right? Let me see if I can like show you a screenshot of this actually. Let me try to explain. There was a conversation that I was having the other day in the Reactor server regarding like how to kind of like game this, because sometimes there is possibility, right? Like the opening is still visible, right? Let me just look at the images right here. I think I was talking with like Melon, or was it Pharaoh? I forgot. Give me 1 second, guys. Right here. Yeah. So this is the portal where you can appeal against a copyright claim, right? Obviously, dispute versus escalate to appeal. Do not go to escalate appeal. If YouTube receives a valid removal request for your video, which basically just means them just saying, pressing the no button, they don't need any due diligence. There's no law, you know, like paperwork needed. They just say no, you're fucked, okay? Don't do this shit. Go with this one. At least it buys you some time. And the point is, it's not to remove the demonetization, right? It's gonna get demonetized. It's about, I just want the video to be visible. That's how this option can work at times. But again, not gonna poke the bear. I think we're done with this shit. I'm moving on. I also thought about a different strategy. So this is a very interesting strategy. The idea is, if every episode is going to get blocked, but we still get enough significant viewership before it gets blocked, what if we compile every single video episode leading up to that week in every single video? Do you know what I mean? The idea is, next week, we upload episode 1 to 5 in one video, 5-hour video, put it out there. It gets blocked. Next week, episode 1 to 6. Now, this is a very interesting strategy, but is it worth all the hassle? It's questionable. It's questionable. There's, you know, if you want to problem solve, there are ways around it.
Now, who's blocked?
It is playing with fire. I don't recommend it, but I'm like, why not though? I kind of want to fuck around, you know?
It? Well, of course, it's King Records. King Record is one of the producers
Notorious.
of the show, right? They're listed as like one of the shot callers, if you will,
Yeah.
right? So, and they're famous for blocking, striking
They usually strike. I'm again surprised that they're not changing it around.
videos.
Right, we don't fuck around with Kodansha, right? Kodansha was Shangri-La Frontier. I see that name, I'm fucking out. King's Record looks like they're kind of changing their attitude, right? Kadokawa also used to strike down ReZero reactions, believe it or not. Then they start to back down. So I like to keep a track of names, blacklist them, and see their overall behavior.
Okay, so we cannot do Tamon's B-side anymore. Now, when everyone was dealing with those issues with Ragna Crimson, King Records.
Yes.
King Records, unfortunately, this is what they do. When you look at my videos, you'll see there's a bunch that are obviously like demonetized and shit, especially music stuff. But this one's blocked, you know? Blocked means that nobody can see the video, which means it does absolutely nothing for me. It means I uploaded the video. Within 12 hours, they blocked this video.
Yeah.
And then it's no longer going to get views, no longer going to get traction. And I basically paid an editor to edit this video, and now I get absolutely nothing from it.
You're paying to lose. You're literally burning money to make even. You're wasting time. When I say waste time, obviously it's not talking about the enjoyment of the episode, but like you have to record it, then you have to send it to your editor. The editor also is now doing their job, spending time. Time is money, right? It's just not a smart investment.
Episode 2 hasn't been hit, episode 1 hasn't been hit, but with episode 3 hit, it just doesn't make sense to continue uploading the series, because that means they will continue to get blocked. So that means Tamon's B-side is out. By
Tamon's B-side got B-sided. It's sad.
the way, views on
It was actually really good too. Honestly, the viewership, I think, Tamon and Shoujo audience is pretty strong.
Tamon's B-side, not bad, right? This is episode 1's views.
Yeah.
These are good. I would have 100% continued this series.
But like, again, episode 1, right? What is the natural life cycle of a reaction as the weeks pass by? I've shown you this graph over and over again, and Joe knows this too. And it's a constant pain that we just complain about all the time, right? Hold up. What is this? Get out of here. Paint this shit black. And then, boom, brushes, right? As the weeks go by, first week, it's fucking popping off, right? Second week, a little bit better. Sorry, a little bit less. Third week, I don't know. And then here, right? As the weeks go by, this is the new baseline. First 2 to 3 weeks, everyone's checking it out. It's viral, it's trending. People drop it. They move on. People get bored, right? You can't expect everybody to complete a show. Like here's the thing. How many times do you have friends that you recommend anime to and they don't even complete the show, right? So then do you expect fucking reaction watchers to keep up with you over the fucking 12-week period? They're gonna show up. Sometimes it might do something like this, you know what I mean? And drop down again. Like this is like maybe like a Dan episode 7 equivalent where something so significant happens that people will check out something, but then after a while it might fall back down. But again, the expectation is first month, we're hitting it. Don't get your ego inflated though. Carefully maintain your expectations because this is where you're looking for, right? And this floor that you hit, this needs to be competitive, right? If it's doing shit like this, nah, that's what are we fucking doing right now? Maybe you can take a hit, right? There are some projects that I do take a hit on. I used to take a lot of hits, right? But like right now, the idea is this, right? This anime are definitely L animes, as in they're not great viewership. They do okay though. The viewership is low, but there's a hardcore audience of this type of enjoyers. So every once in a while, I will sprinkle in these videos along with other really well-performing videos. For example, right? If I'm going to be tanking this video, what do? I'm going to be putting up the Emiru LARP cosplay video. I'm going to then put up the Nicholas Light video, right? The goal is to have it sandwiched between really well-performing videos such that I'm mitigating the amount of damage, the bad signals that I'm sending off to the YouTube algorithm. If I truly wanted to optimize, I drop this shit. I know what I have to do to farm views. Just cover relevant news and drama in my fucking circle. Cover JoJo's and cover the big seasonal topics. That would probably optimize my viewership even more. But here's the thing. I think there is a compromise you can make. There are some passion projects you can do if you have the capacity to farm out these kind of videos out of your ass. The drama videos are literally the thing that is keeping afloat these other bad performing seasonal anime. I'm really glad that, you know, Polar Opposites is doing well though. Hell's Paradise too. This is unprecedented. I didn't realize how many people would give a fuck about Hell's Paradise season 2, considering again this type of behavior where season 2 it's the same shit here, right? You filter people out at season 2. Like even like it's not even this. It's literally working with this crowd, and then you're going with this crowd to season 2. So now the beginning pool of audience should be even smaller. You know what I mean? Yet it's still doing pretty well. That's very interesting. It's like a Sakamoto Days Part 2 situation right now.
Had it not had this issue. Unfortunately, episode 1 views, you know, we couldn't really capitalize. Episode 2, we uploaded just a couple of days ago.
I think Joe was late to it, yeah. So being early, I think, does help. Being late is not going to significantly change it, in my opinion, right? Either you have that audience or you don't. I refuse to believe that being as early as possible is the most important thing. I try being early, I try being late. What matters the most is who's in your audience. Do they care about this topic? If they do, the video will do regardless of when you upload.
Though that one, it looks like a low performer, but it could end up doing better as time went on. Problem is, it's also like I uploaded it late, and episode 1's always perform the best and are a good indicator.
There is an exception though I will make for the community content stuff that I just mentioned. Like right now I'm farming JoJo's. Phantom Blood is 20+ year old anime, I think. I don't know how old it is. JoJo's is doing well. Phantom Blood is not airing right now. Why am I getting JoJo's viewership? Why is the JoJo's viewership getting like 10,000 plus? Well, it's because there's an audience in a community that enjoys it in my zoo, right? These monkeys want it. Like, give it to them. But what if you don't have any of those JoJo's monkeys wanting it? In fact, let's say you have a brand new channel, you don't even have a community, and you try Steel Ball Run reactions. Steel Ball Run is a bad example. I will use Ranma as an example. Ranma, Arknights, these are animes that my core community doesn't give a fuck about it. Yet an external audience exists. How about this anime too, right? Ranma, Arknights, here's another one. It was Twisted Wonderland. Remember this? For their ladies? The ladies ate this shit up. This ain't my boys. This is all a bunch of external female audience that has never found my channel. The demand is there, but the supply is low. And I put it out there and it eventually made it to that audience. So in terms of timing, I think it does matter to be early, to be not on that day. I didn't, some days I would react to this shit the day after. But what I'm trying to say is there are situations where you do get tested to a different audience, and even if your core audience doesn't care, because of a unique circumstance of high demand but low supply, you basically get in that, right? Not because maybe you made good content, but just simply out of luck, because it's just numbers of no one's making their content, but a lot of people want it.
And we were never going to be able to really capitalize on Tamon's B-side as well, because apparently it releases on Crunchyroll on Wednesdays, but it actually releases in Japan on Saturdays. So it was always going to fall in terms of views. It was never going to get the full support that it needed. So that's Tamon's B-side. All right. Unfortunate with Tamon's B-side. The other thing we need to talk about is Shibo Yugi.
This is pretty fraudulent. It's not so bad though, right? So if we look at playing death games, solid for me, right? First episode, of course it's going to do well. It was an explosive movie premiere episode. And then this is comfortable. I'm fine with 5 to 10% range. 5 to 10% to my subscriber count. If I have 60K subs, I expect an average video to be around that 6,000 mark. The least I will go to is 3,000. 3,000 I think is when it should be called off. If you're hitting 4K, I'm fine with that. It's not the best. It's not really that good, but so you got to look at this range, right? So I got to kind of, and the 10% range, right? It's different. So when I'm shadow banned, right? when I'm shadow banned, again, the shadow ban was what? When the filters come off and you're basically like fucked, right? So if we just, I'm just gonna show you some panels here. I'm just trying to dock some information. Gonna look at the content here. Yeah. So right now, this was when I got unshadow banned, right? So look at this shit. Look at this. This is a lifetime graph of the overall viewership. Notice how we've hit a new baseline. The average is around 80,000 views per day, which is around 160,000 obviously for the last 48 hours. I've been averaging that very consistently for the last 4 weeks. And it's so evident to me that the switches goes off. This isn't just because of like random events. Like this is very calculated. This is how the algorithm works, right? It's, again, I talked to you about situations where you hit a threshold that you shouldn't be at and you get punished for it. But through this entire year, I've been kind of going through this, right? Hitting this peak 3 times. Well, technically 1, 2, there was like 3, 4, 5, 6 times. But now I'm literally, that peak is being averaged out as the baseline. That's fucking beautiful to have, right? Yet it's still doing well. And basically right now when I'm not shadow banned, we want to be here, right? We want to be at that like, so shadow ban, right? Shadow versus, you know, non-shadow, right? When I'm shadow banned, I'm looking at that 5 to 10% range, right? Of subscriber count, right? Of like views, average views, right? To sub count. This is an arbitrary metric that I have kind of seen for myself looking at other channels like Nicholas Sight, your boy Roshi, and many other big channels just to see. I think they're great samples to use because of how sizable they are, right? They have a big scale that I think the numbers make more sense. Some other channels may not be, but I've noticed that usually 10% is like where they're really good at. When I'm not shadow banned though, 10 to 20%. This is the capacity now, right? Of the same thing. Now it feels like a video that gets 6,000 views is actually the new bad 5% range. You know what I mean? Like before, 10% is what we want to do. We want to hit that 10% mark. But now this is kind of shifted because of the shadow ban being off. So I'm kind of working in this figure park now. So when we think about this, suddenly, you know, even though this is all great, right? Like the Shiba Yugi content, is it doing well? 4K? I'd say so if I was shadow banned, but not right now. But even then, right? It's a good problem to have. This is a great problem to have where the averages are getting higher, the baseline is getting higher, and I still have to be careful about it, right? I'm going to be sprinkling in some other drama content, even this video, right? People are going to love this kind of topic and try to scatter in the L's and mix and match the good videos. And again, everything I'm saying here is very arbitrary. It's not the law. This is simply based off of my understanding of pattern recognition and looking at other channels, but I think that I do have undeniable results. So even if I may be wrong about some things, I think I'm mostly right about many things.
Damn. From episode 1, which performed really good, this is good performance, good subscribers, good views, everything. I would 100% continue. I would expect a video like this, which we uploaded late, by the way. We didn't upload Shiba Yugi the day it came out. Still got 9.3K views.
Nice.
I would expect a series like this when I'm uploading the brand new episodes to be at about half this. 4 or 5K, something like that. Episode 2 reaction is 2.6K views. A large Japanese audience too. And I'm not even getting like a, you know what's crazy here? Look at this, man. 8% of the people that watched or subscribed. And
that's a great problem to have though. Joe has a very interesting algorithm. Like him and I are very different, I've noticed, in how we get viewership, and maybe the editors have noticed too, right? It's like what's it called? Hold up. Let me just look at this tab again. If we look at the content reach, right? If we look at the reach of the videos, right? YouTube search should not be the most important traffic. The most important traffic is browse features and suggested videos. Again, browse features is what? You click on the home page, boom, right? These are the browse features. The algorithm has decided these are the topics that I want to perhaps see. You know what I mean? And then if you do go into one, the suggested videos are what's on the right-hand side, right? These are the most significant traffic. And I've noticed, and doing a lot of research, a lot of big YouTubers too, right? Of course, search engine helps, but the majority of your traffic should be here. Joe is much weaker in the browse features, but more dominates on the YouTube search. I think his content is packaged in such a way that it appeals to a more tourist audience, and therefore he is getting a wider reach to the non-subscriber. And this, I see this shit, I'm coming, right? I love this. This is an amazing problem to have. This means that your videos are getting exposed to a wider audience. Yet at the same time, for Joe, this might be a problem because of the way, again, his channel is designed, how it's packaged, right? So it's an interesting issue.
And yet 62% are regular viewers. What is that? What is that? How does that even, anyways, whatever. So it's not good views. And then this is episode 3, not good views. It's just
like, it's wild to me that as soon as he uploads, YouTube search here is the second most traffic. That's crazy to me. This never really happens to me at all. It's always browse features, channel pages, and suggested videos. And I'm not saying this to shit on Joe, but I do think that my community is more consolidated and more aware, right? I think that the way that I engage with my community and have a very community-focused drive has created a culture where my videos are sought out in a different method. While Joe, different type of merchant, right? Definitely hitting the Japanese tourist audience a lot too. But perhaps in trying to capture this foreign audience too much, he's neglecting his core community. And because that's not able to form and consolidate as much as mine has, the viewership, right, the reach is totally different. Again, I'm not saying like Joe has no community. I'm not saying, oh my God, you know, he's a fraud, he's just getting tourists. No. But I'm just trying to understand and analyze, why is his viewership and the reach so different? Yet some key metrics are something that I personally want, which is, again, non-subscribers being higher. Like if I look at some of my content, right? Just 1 second. Right, can I do this? Studio content. Wait. Yeah. Look at the channel content. Come on, load. Right. Let's look at some of the stuff that happened recently. Right. Dragon Ball. I expect this to. I don't know. Dragon Ball is very interesting. Again, you see the traffic, right? Browse and suggested always. It is 50-50. Great to see, right? Great to see, and you can see the reach too, right? This is, again, because this is like the 40th like anniversary stuff, of course it's gonna be appealing more. Let's look at some other stuff too. Nicholas Light, I expect this to be very community. Like this is, yeah. So Nicholas Light content is extremely interesting in the way that it's a very local, authentic community of anime reaction enjoyers that also enjoy drama, right? So of course there's not gonna be reach through YouTube search, right? Who the fuck is searching up this content? However, you scale off of the recommendations like that, look at the audience. Again, I don't like this. I don't like it that it's like 2/3 of subscribers is not subscribed, but that's how it works, right? What do you expect when you're doing like such, like what's it called? Like you have to be, this is like season 6 of like a show we're watching. You know what I mean? Like unless you're tapped in, you're fucking sweaty about the lore of Nicholas Light and me. This is not gonna make sense to you, right? But in the community that we have fostered, of course it's gonna appeal more to that. Let's look at some other stuff. Let's look at an anime reaction recently. Well, JoJo's obviously, it's gonna be, you know, just community content, and I just want to look at Hell's Paradise. Let's look at Freaky Paradise too. How's that doing? So JoJo's, I expect all my community, right? I expect the viewership to be just mostly through my community using browse and suggested videos. Yeah, you look at the videos right here, it's all just suggested channel pages. Browse features actually lower. Viewership is great because obviously this is going to be my core community content. Engagement's all right. Look at this, 50-50. Beautiful. Love it. I wish that more was non-subscribed though. You look at the reach. Boom. No YouTube search engine. You don't need YouTube search engine. If you depend on YouTube search engine, I think you're already losing. It doesn't mean you give up on it, but you focus on this, right? Look at something like this, Hell's Paradise. Look at Freaky Paradise. How is the viewership, the reach? Again, search engine, nothing. I bet Joe got more Hell's Paradise reaction viewership through the search engine than me. But I think I might have gotten more viewership on my video than him. Why? Why is that? Because of this, right? Strong sense of community that actually wants the specific topic, and you scale off of this traffic. Again, look at this shit, 60-40. I don't like this. I want more than not subscribe. Something I think even more extreme will be something like Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Let's look at JJK. Or Fate. Fate works too. Let's look at Fate. And let's look at Freerin. Let's look at some of the top hitters, right? Let's look at Sentence to be a Hero. Chain Soldier 2. These are good picks, actually. Let's analyze them. And Shibuya Get 2, sure, why not? The big ones, I expect more on YouTube search. right? I think more people are actively seeking it out. Fake content, I think a lot of people are doing well naturally. More significant on YouTube search, but you can still see browse and suggested highest, right? And you look at the audience too. Great to see. That's what I want. This is beautiful. I wish that every video was like this distribution. Now, I need more of this though, right? You look at the audience watch behavior. This is great that we have regular and casual viewers doing very well. Again, these are the semantics, definitions of a casual versus regular viewer, right? Watched your channel 6 or more months of the past year, and these are, you know, over the past year. And when I look at this, do you guys realize what this means? Right? How many times have I guys shown you this, you know, this picture? How many times have I shown you these 3 circles? And talking about audience, right? Of how people initially find you, these tourists, who then later become community members, who then become hardcore members. This is it. It's literally this. You look at this. Fuck. Let's look at this. Right here, right? Right here. Right here. That's what it is. That's what you want. You need more of this shit, but at the same time, you need to hit this too, right? I wish that the new viewers were higher, but obviously you can't just infinitely scale off. But again, new trends come in, you have to capitalize off the trends and convert that shit. So many people don't convert. Instead, they fucking leave. How do you convert? Fucking talk to your audience. Give them what they want. What do they want right now from my channel? It's fucking JoJo's. New people are finding out. JoJo content. While they realize there's like main top content coming in. That's how you fucking work this shit, bro. So again, Fate does really well. Let's look at Freerin. Freerin also does really well. Looking at the reach, it's going to be a similar breakdown, literally the same. Look at the audience tab. Yep, 50-50. Look at, what's it called? Census Be Hero. Census Be Hero definitely lacking, but not bad to drop. In fact, the watch time is fucking amazing. Viewership isn't everything, right? Look at this viewership. You need stuff like that. You need this, right? Because sometimes, even if viewership is bad, it's not bad. It's okay, right? It's not amazing. But you have a high watch time. I'm telling you, bro. Watch time, I think, is more important than views. The money is a function of watch time and RPM. Views obviously matter, but you got to realize, do you want to... Because think about this. Do you want 100,000 views off of a 30-second skit? Or do you want 50,000 views off of a 3-hour movie reaction? The answer is very simple. Obviously, the longer you watch, the more ads you get served, more money you make. You want to have watch time as a very important metric too. Keeping track of that, right? Looking at the audience, probably, yeah, more 60-40, right? Sentence Be a Hero, less of a tourist, you know, it's definitely more in my audience type of, you know, flavor of anime. Looking at the reach, again, YouTube search engine, barely none. But we don't need it. We can get away with this, right? Chain Soldier. So Chain Soldier is an interesting one where fan service carries the anime, right? It does bad, but because the watch time is good, I'm willing to do it. Definitely not, you know, optimal, but still enough. When I look at this, what does this tell me? The fact that channel pages is the highest amount of traffic tells me that these are fucking coomers. It means that the video is unappealing and doesn't do well in the beginning. It's not being recommended. But there's a lot of horny fucks that are looking for this content. They find my channel, they go into the channel pages. Channel pages also is very high when you have your when you're shadow banned. When you're shadow banned, when people don't know where your videos are, how do they find your videos? Channel pages and browse features. Suggested videos goes down though. Look at this shit, right? Shibuyugi, again, not good. This is terrible. But the watch time justifies Shibuyugi content. You look at the reach, YouTube search engine, nothing. Browse. Look at the breakdown, 60-40. Yeah, that sounds about right. And there's more. We need to let Joe talk. I've been yapping for too long.
Performing so poorly, it does not make sense for me to continue uploading this series.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And I'm uploading the same day it releases. So why is it not getting the views? It's because
your audience doesn't care, I guess, about this topic.
People aren't watching. People are not watching reactions to this show. Regardless of how great the direction was, especially in episode 3.
I would argue that people are watching, but it's like the people, again, is not like a monolith, right? Because like my watch time, again, is significantly higher than Joe's watch time in the most recent one. Does that mean that my commentary was so compelling compared to his that people are watching mine? Not necessarily. Again, it has to do with the audience that you have curated and their expectations from you. I think that Joe, not tapping into his community as hard as he should perhaps, is creating this situation where watch time is high for me, but watch time is low for him. Again, doesn't mean his reactions are bad. This is about content strategy. It's about how you package the content and how you round up the monkeys in the jungle.
The direction was phenomenal, and I think the direction's been great the entire show. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
I think that this director was a fraud in Days with My Stepsister. I refuse to believe that anime is a masterpiece. I watched the motherfucker fucking eat rice for 30 seconds and motherfuckers are crying on their knees saying peak direction. Like, you're capping. Like, fuck you. You're basically the equivalent of that retard that says Free Rent is so amazing, and you show me a clip of them walking where the sky, the blue sky, is shown for 20 seconds in silence, and I'm like, no. Direction is not when you fucking have nothing going on. You're stalling. You're padding watch time. Fuck you.
People are just not watching. Now, these aren't the only ones that are destroyed. Tune into the Midnight Heart or whatever.
Yeah, Maminaka Heart, bro. This shit. So in the beginning, it was kind of interesting for a while, right? Let's look at that. Maminaka Heart. Just gonna get rid of some of this stuff here. Maminaka Heart. It had a very interesting premise. I actually think this type of story would have done really well. And you know what? I mean, shit. You look at the viewership, that's actually not bad. Why did we drop it? I kind of was disappointed with the production value. And you can also tell that, look at this one, right? So it had to take 2 weeks to fucking get to 4.8K, right? Don't say it was 4.8K in the beginning, right? It was very lacking. But not only that, the watch time is very low too, right? Again, there were other examples I showed you, like Shibuyugi. So Prison Chain Soldier, for example, too, where their watch times are great, but the views are low. I can justify that. This, nah. And you know what? I realized that it's because the anime is doing the source material unjust. Like, the anime is just not good. It's scuffed. And in any other season, like, for example, if I was still shadow banned, right? Like, if I was shadow banned and I'm like, whatever, bro. I'm just going to take it chill, right? Like, this period of time, nothing that I do is going to break me out. You understand? Like, I have realized that you can't fight against it. There's nothing that you can do to break out of the shadow ban other than fucking wait for this calculation score to be done on your channel, which is 3 months marine, which just happens to align with, again, seasonal content. So when I'm shadow ban, I'm like, all right, why we don't need to be heavily optimizing. Let's just relax and keep around a show like this. It's not that bad, right? But right now, it's like, no, I'm not fucking around. Right now, I'm going to hold this fucking new average that we've doubled in viewership. Like, this is crazy. This entire 2025 was me chasing after the fucking high of sister leveling, breaking my channel to a new level that I shouldn't be at. I got fucking nerfed for half a fucking year at the same viewership. You know what that's like? It's like running in a tunnel with no fucking light at the end of it. Because up until now, it's like this expectation of like, there's a milestone. I see the destination, I'm going to run. But when you're shadow banned, it's like, I don't see the destination. What am I doing? So at some point, I just put the blindfold on and I gave you the analogy of just run. Don't look at a destination. Just fucking lock in and run. Nothing matters. And I did that for half a year. That was fucking pure madness. I think I was going insane. And then what happened? Lord of the fucking mysteries, bro. Xi Jinping just pulls up and fucking cuttlefish in them and just giving me an honorary fucking CCP medal, bro. Holy goddamn. New trends. And I realized I'm not cooked. We can still keep going. We can do this. And obviously, broke a new viewership again. Got punished for it. But again, the new baseline is at a nice place. And then, you know, fall was a weak season. One Punch Man Season 3 drama in Nicholas Light. We were kind of wrangling around, barely fucking around. So now it's just like, the theory is, every time we hit a new peak, I kind of just farm whatever. Because I'm like, hey, gates are open, right? I'm going to get views no matter what, right? I'll like, have you noticed I'm not even uploading opening reactions for certain animes? Because I'm like, I'm not going to take an L. I know some opening reactions for some animes, like Jack of All Trades, is not going to do well. Why would I upload that shit? The goal right now is, and the theory right now is, keep the momentum going. Give it good signals. If you're going to take an L, make sure there are dubs packaged around the L's such that you're mitigating the damage. And it's been 29 days now. The fucking switch could go off tomorrow. In fact, if the switch goes off next week and I did all this shit, then maybe my efforts meant nothing. As in, maybe I could have just farmed all these other bullshit shows too, and maybe I still wouldn't have gotten shadow banned. And this is the thing with these tests. In a scientific test, you have many different controls. You have a standard to compare to. I don't have a control group. It's just I pick one direction and I'm just like, let's do it. But just because it's working right now, it doesn't prove or disprove that my theory is correct. But even then, I know that I shouldn't fuck with something that's not broke. Do you know what I mean? This is a tricky thing. And that's why I'm very open about this. I want other content creators who are not just making videos without thinking, but those who understand the algorithm at a deeper level, understand who their audience with, and I want to hear from their perspective and their experience of what's going on. The better that I do this shit, the better I think everyone can fucking grow, and it's gonna be just beneficial. It's like a rising tide lifts all boats.
Whatever, this one is cooked. It's done. We're no longer uploading the series. This one's performing so poorly. Yep. Episode 2 performed poorly. Yep. Episode 1 wasn't even that great in terms.
All right, I just had my PC crash, so there's going to be a little bit of a weird part in this video, but we're back into it. Let's get back into it. We were talking about Mayonaka being a 6-7, and then PC went blue screen of death.
In terms of performance, so nobody's watching that. And then even some holdovers from last season that used to perform pretty well for me. Tamon's, Genosha, Tojima, all.
Yeah, keep talking about those. Actually, I have a lot to say about these kind of shows.
Also bombing, dude. Also not doing good, unfortunately. The new episodes of Tojima and Genosha, you know, they are.
Do you know why it's doing bad? And you know what? This
not doing good.
Watch time good
2K
enough.
Views, almost 3K.
So the interesting thing about these two, right? Here's what I think. I think one of the worst things that could happen to an anime, especially if it's not like a headliner anime, is when you have 2 cores. It's a very simple concept. Again, right? The baseline's gonna keep shrinking as time goes on, right? So when you don't, like Jujutsu Kaisen is not gonna suffer from this, okay? Frieren is not gonna suffer from this, right? There are headliner animes that are just so popular and so big that sometimes it's in your favor. It's for that long. Like if Re:Zero came out with a fucking 4-core non-stop, that's my fucking wet dream. But if there is random seasonal bullshit that's barely hanging on, and it's 2 cores like Genosha, Tojima, it's GG. I knew this was gonna be a problem literally going into winter, and I decided to cut my losses. Now, you have to recognize though, watch time here is still good. You see the green? You see the green over here? Watch time is still fine. So for Joe, I think that these are again an opportunity for you to scatter the L's while consolidating into the hardcore community that's still watching it. In my opinion, this could be a calculated L that you could take.
Good, 2K views, almost 3K views. I can keep these up because I've been watching the show for over a core.
I remember there was this one dude that said, "Ka, bro, you gotta go back on Genosha, bro. The moment that you dropped, the week after, everyone's viewership doubled." And I read that comment and I was like, "Oh, am I missing out on something?" But I was like, it's not a big deal. There's other stuff I can do. Cap. Never listen to people. Never listen to the vocal minority words. Look at the actions of the silent majority at scale. Random comments from the vocal minority do not matter. The silent majority and the way that they move, look at the analytics, understand the statistics, and strategize that way.
Right? The other ones are new. That means they're out. And also, I will say, I think that the Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider episode bombed because it's not as Kamen Rider centric in these last 2 episodes.
Sure.
These most recent episodes were not like dealing with a Kamen Rider. They were dealing with the plus-sized idol and the monster.
Plus-sized idol? Where the fuck is the story going recently?
Guy. So it's like, well, it's not Kamen Rider. People that watch this, they get excited for the Kamen Rider for the fights and stuff. That wasn't the case in these last couple. So that's my copium for this series.
Yeah, I think that the viewership is not significantly going to improve though. Maybe it's going to pop off in a better way if there's like a significant episode, but for the most part, I would expect viewership to be very, very low, if not just barely meeting ends meet. But the watch time, I think, is consistent enough where, again, as a passion project, you care about it enough, your community wants it. Why not? I don't think it's going to be that damaging. That's my theory.
And these aren't the only series that are performing bad, man. There's a lot of series that are not performing well. Hell's Paradise not performing as well as I would want. And it looks like at the moment, the only series that are actually performing.
Jujutsu Kaisen, Fate, Furiren, Sentenced to be Hero.
Well, definitely doing the numbers that I would want them to.
JJK.
JJK,
yeah.
Frieren, and Fate. Those.
I wonder why. It's because these shows are headliner animes, right? And most likely, other channels too are getting that level of viewership despite not having a community, right? There's going to be a lot of cases where a lot of channels right now, I guarantee you, are popping off because they got lucky and somehow got into the algorithm of JJK, Fate, Frieren. And they're getting, and if you, and maybe there's some channels that you've already seen. Look at those viewership compared to the other content they upload. I guarantee you, the other videos are going to be like random rinky-dink 100 views couples, right? And then the random Fate episode just gets a couple thousand. That's not random, right? It's very obvious what's going on, right? So you have to realize when you are getting carried by a trend and people are coming in, don't think that they're going to stick around. You have to give them an incentive to make them stay around. This is the most important step of a reaction channel. If you care about actually doing this, sustainability, right? You consistently, you want this to be lasting. When you are in the algorithm, don't just upload random bullshit. Talk to them. Make a video, make a community post. What do they want? And if you don't do this, by the end of the season, you're going to think that the algorithm dropped you. No, the algorithm didn't drop you. Replace the algorithm with the word audience. The audience left because you dropped them. You didn't give the content they were asking for. They were only here for JJK. They were only for Fate. So many people think like YouTube is unfair because they got lucky with like solo leveling. They're popping off. Oh my God, my solo leveling videos are doing so well. You don't even understand what's going on. And you're squandering this once in a moment opportunity that may not come again, right? These viral moments, these trends, you can't control them. You need to be lucky. To be lucky, you need to be prepared. The opportunity you cannot control, but the preparation is something you can be doing every day. You got to think.
The 3 series that are actually doing really, really well and performing the way that I would want them to.
Yeah.
Behind them, we've got a few more series like You and I Are Polar Opposites.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Fire Force, but that might just be because of the fight popping off, Benny Maru and stuff.
I heard the Fire Force is redeemed. I heard that the final season is actually not cooked. A lot of people are dooming, but it seems like they came back and it's got a proper director.
Maybe Oshinoko, maybe, but also maybe not. I don't.
Oshinoko is very questionable right now, right? Let's look at this shit. How is Oshinoko doing? Openings are always going to pop off, right? First episode obviously going to do well. Second and third, it's, again, I was called these tier 2s, right? This is not tier 1. This is not a headliner. However, this is above average, and I bet the watch time is good enough. Yep, there it is. And again, look at the viewership. YouTube search, not even significant, right? So stuff like this over time, I think will grow enough. Look at the distribution of the reach, right? I think this is very important. Look at the audience as well. It's funny how like people find my videos just by searching my name now, right? Most of the search traffic is literally off of Kaka TV. It's never really off of this. There was even a period of time when I literally didn't have anime titles or episode numbers in the titles, right? Remember that? So many people were being annoying saying, you have to put the right title name, the anime name, episode name. Why aren't you putting it in there? Because it doesn't matter. Because the people that were going to watch that content are already compelled. They understand what the thumbnail is. They're going to click onto it. They know. And the people that would have never clicked on it because they saw this like anime name episode 17 reaction. Why the fuck would random people click onto that video? Right? So again, this is like different level of thinking. It's counterintuitive thinking. You're stuck in the way of thinking of, I need to put a number and a name for people to find it on the YouTube search engine. That's very like Google Gaga baby level. You have no understanding of this game. Here's a level beyond that. YouTube search engine is dominated by high performing videos. I'm never gonna compete with the big boys like that. Instead, how do you get high competing videos? Your local audience must care about it. So have a topic that people care about in your community. And the better you do, the more it's gonna be shown on the search engine. And then beyond that, don't filter away the people, right? Basically, the people that would have been filtered away from seeing the title of anime name episode 17 reaction, right? first time chatter? Yep. Jujutsu Kaisen Day on Thursdays, the collective intelligence of the chat just drops again. What was I saying? The idea here is you don't want to filter people away. So obscuring the anime name and the episode and giving a very clickbaity title will compel them to actually click onto the video. Well, are they going to actually watch the reaction? Probably not. But this actually got them to click onto the video, and maybe they realized they actually watched this anime. They might click playlist, right? At the end of the day, after that experiment, there was no difference. I think that the time that I was experimenting with the no title and stuff was around this period, right? I definitely stopped doing that, I think, around fall, right? So all of this, pretty much for 2025, I decided no fucking titles, no numbers. Did not change anything. There was no significant growth or just bad. Everything is just the same. And then I realized, just for easeability, just for visibility's sake, for people to just stop panicking, I'll just put the anime name and number in. That's why I'm just doing that again.
I don't even know. Darwin's Incident. And that's it. Just those shows. A lot of ones that I thought that would perform.
Joe did really well with Darwin's Incident, and I'm very jealous that he got into the algorithm for that. For the first video to hit that Japanese audience, obviously because he incorporates the JP subs into it. I think it's very smart. I do question, though, how the Japanese audience being procured is going to be ultimately helpful, though, right? So the idea here is some animes do really well in Japan audience, such as Orb. Orb, if you were in Gundam. Remember Gundam? There was, not Witch from Mercury. There was the G-Quux, right? G-Quux stuff. And some people, right, by utilizing Japanese built-in subs are able to hit that audience, but are they actually becoming a community after? And the bigger question is, what happens on Patreon? Are you embedding your subs into that? I don't think Joe is. So there's this extra issue. Maybe Patreon will have a different, a feature that will allow AI subs such that anyone can watch it, right? But still, the core problem is you tapped into this foreign audience, but they, I think, become dead subs at the end. And that's why I don't really pursue the Japanese market. I just think that it's not a good idea. My goal is to not be appealing to everybody. It's to consolidate into a very niche audience and to scale off of that. It just didn't sound smart to me for my direction.
Well, like Hell's Paradise, not so well. Obviously, our holdovers, like I mentioned, Genosha and Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider, not so well.
Yeah.
Chain Soldier, even.
Yeah.
Not so well.
It's barely.
They're performing good enough to continue, but it's not like, ooh, these are getting the views.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A Vigilantes is
dead. I mean, that shit was pretty much dead near the end of season 1. I'm glad that I finished season 1. Knuckle Duster was such a compelling character. The Queen Bee arc, beautiful, bro. But season 2, people don't give a fuck. Just when Koichi's about to get new powers too, it's just like, damn, there's no motion for the song.
Doing really badly. That's what's going on with this anime season. So yeah, clickbait title. Just so I can get you to click on the video so you can understand.
It's not clickbait though, right? I think this is a clickable title. Tamon's B-side and Shibuya have failed. They did fail. How do they fail? He explained it, right? A clickbait, I think, is to say, I got copyright struck from Shibuya and Tamon B-side. That's just a lie, right? Clickable and clickbait is different. One, you're lying. The other, you're kind of exaggerating or just obscuring the truth a little bit, but still not lying.
And why I'm not uploading Tamon's B-side anymore. Why I'm not uploading Shiba Yugi anymore. Why I stopped uploading Mayonaka Heart Tune. And man, I am praying that something carries us because right now it is not looking good for the views.
Joe, I think you need to tap into your community and deliver the community reactions. But the thing is, right? Because like what I'm telling Joe is, because he doesn't farm this type of content, right? Because like the purpose of this video that I'm making right now from Joe, I know that people care about this type of content. I'm collaborating in a way with a different content creator that people are familiar with, and I'm talking about analytics. And because I've been doing this for a long time, right? I procure that audience where they care about this shit, right? It's basically the general content. These type of content do extremely well in my channel because I'm not filtering people out based on the episodes or based on the anime. Joe, though, hasn't been always doing that. And I'm not telling him to do that. So if he pursues this type of content, maybe they do well, maybe they don't, right? Like, this is basically, I am benefiting from the fruits of my labor that I planted a long time ago. And it took a long time to eventually get here where I can do this general commentary drama content to supplement the L episodes of anime. And on top of that, stuff like this, right? Community series. I refuse to believe that this is a unique thing to me. Community series is, again, another thing that you need to grow slowly. Joe right now, if he asks and does a poll and figures out what to watch next, there's a chance it doesn't do well. Because again, this is a long-term process. So I don't have short-term solutions for Joe right now. I genuinely don't. You have to bite the bullet at a certain point, understand what content strategy you want to pursue. But for me right now, and I'm not trying to gloat on Joe, I think I'm at my peak. I am at my peak. In terms of Twitch, in terms of Patreon, in terms of YouTube. TikTok, not really. TikTok's kind of cooked. Algorithm's weird. But YouTube right now, what I've been setting up for a long time over these years is finally coming into fruition. I talk about me being a very late scaling game, right? My early game is fucking trash. I've squandered everything in the early game, and it's been a long time coming. But through the content strategy that I've been iterating over and over again, I've been documenting every single part of this stuff. There's a playlist in this fucking playlist video right now, right? What's it called? Weekly performance reviews or community, right? Where I document every time the algorithm is doing something weird and I explain to you what I'm doing. And I think I'm finally escaping that, what's it called? I think I'm finally escaping that early game. And I think I am about to get to that end, like middle game, right? So I'd say right now, video game mechanics, right? This isn't about sub count. I think this has to do with viewership, right? If I'm averaging 2.5 million views roughly, right, in a month at my channel size, I think that I am about to graduate the early game. I'm getting very competitive and I'm about to go into early mid game. And I expect to be in that range for the next about 2 years. I hope to, the goal is to break out between 5 mil, right? Because Nicholas Light right now is also only averaging about 6 mil based on his long form content minus shorts. Your boy Roshi is averaging around 8 million views right now for long form content. And they have millions of subs. Of course, they don't upload as much as I do, but again, everyone else has the same amount of time. And some channels genuinely can't upload the volume of content because they haven't, again, set the seeds, right? They don't do the drama content. They don't do the general content. Like, I knew that anime reactions are not gonna be the thing that takes me to the top. I know that there are some headliners, right? I can't control that. There are seasons when there's no headliners like fall. What happens when there's no headliners? You have drama, you have news coverage, right? If you're able to do commentary and people care about your opinions beyond just reactions to anime, you can cover anything. And I've done that and I've grown that audience, and that's why I can just fucking farm Baldi here, right? This is me literally just fucking reading tweets, right? People love me reading tweets. So not everyone needs to do what I'm doing, but I'm giving you what I've done, how I've expanded beyond just anime reactions, and how I am basically, the drama content is how the anime reactions are also being carried for a certain series like that, okay? So that's it from me. Just a bunch of yapping. TLDR, Talon's gone. It's not going to be on Patreon because, again, the way that Joe runs it, I think that, again, even though people want Talon on Patreon, I think people want Madoka more. So the idea is, for a session that could be spent recording for content that's going to be Patreon exclusive, I can actually give them the Patreon exclusives that they voted for. And it's going to be more accurate, right? Again, think about the retention. I think there's a lot more I could talk about in not just terms of YouTube analytics, but also Patreon. It's the same concept, right? It's literally the same shit, right? Patreon also, people join in because of trends of certain community series, but you got to give them an incentive to stick around. It's literally the same shit, except just in a different iteration layer. See you next time.